3 hams will certainly kill him. 3 hams.
Hello and welcome to another how-to. I know the last one was kind of, well, really dark. So I've decided to make this one a little bit brighter. What we're going to do today is the guide to do dishes. As you saw with the previous shot, there's a lot of dishes we've got to do. And a lot of people will say, you know, I like doing dishes, but I'm going to teach you the way to do dishes the way that'll be the easiest, the funnest, and a way that it'll make it look like you've done a lot of work when really you've been sitting on your ass. Ass most of the time. So, sit back, relax, and let's get doing those dishes. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the dishes we've got here, a lot of the dirty dishes, and this is stuff because, you know, myself personally, I like to put aside a lot of stuff until like Sunday when I have nothing to do, because, you know, wife's at work, I'm here alone, kind of fend for myself, so it's either do dishes, do chores, or, you know, do the comic. And, well, there's some days where inspiration is out there, and there's some days where inspiration just basically tells me, go, do something constructive. And today is one of those days where it says, do both. Do something constructive and do something fun. So, I've put aside my copy of Skyrim, and the internet is kind of turned off for a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and start the dishes. Now, before we start the dishes itself, there's going to be one major thing we got to do. We've got to find something on Netflix to watch.
Come on to watch.
You're probably thinking, Ken, why do I need to find something on Netflix to watch? Well, the reason being is about 10% of washing dishes is actually washing the dishes. The rest of it is basically your background noise. Now today, what I've decided to watch is something a little long and something a little kind of stupid. You know, because you need to have that little background noise that you don't really want to pay attention to. And I kind of put some stuff on my queue that I kind of do that with. I'm kind of looking for something that would be totally inane. Here we go. No, that's a bit too much. Might bore my brain out. No, that's a bit too much too. Here we go. Stargate. Now those of you who don't know about Stargate, Stargate was a pretty good movie in its time, and it spawned a great series. So much so that the series spawned other series. So, now that we've got something to watch, back to the dishes. Now that we've got something on TV, something in the background, we're now going to go ahead and start the dishes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a lot of the big stuff here, like these big cups, kind of stick them off to the side, because those will go and be done a little bit later. The next thing we're going to do is remember to take off, if you can, your wedding ring. It is very important not to lose that or get it really dirty to the point that you'll get in trouble. Because if you get in trouble by your wife, you're not sleeping anywhere in that bedroom. You are sleeping outside or on the couch if you're lucky. So, go ahead and take some of the big stuff, move it over. Some of the big stuff like this we want to go ahead and keep in there because it's going to cause like a nice little base for where we're going to put everything. Take a lot of your little stuff, toss it in there. Some of our dishes, I'm going to toss in there. Little cups, more little dishes. Now you're probably asking, Kim, what happens after you go ahead and get everything loaded like this? I mean, because most of us nowadays have a dishwasher. I don't. That's why I have to do stuff like this. But you're probably thinking, you know, if I had a dishwasher, wouldn't I just load up everything and let it take its place? Well, yeah, but that's the lazy way. I mean, I would one day like a dishwasher, so I wouldn't have to do everything by hand. But you know, it's one of those things you've got to deal with. So, first thing I'm doing is I've got a big skillet pan that I'm going to go and let soak. Then after that, I'm going to move that over, checking the temperature, nice and hot. Once that's full and soaking, we're going to go ahead and have it fill this side, and that's going to go ahead and soak up for us. And you're probably thinking, well, why are we soaking everything? This is the reason why. Remember I told you 10% of this was going to be work. The rest of it is we're going to be goofing off. Now you're probably thinking, well, what do you mean goofing off? I thought we were actually, you know, doing the dishes. Well, yes and no, people. When you're doing the dishes, a lot of people think you're doing them right there, you're scrubbing them down, and you're good. Not really. You're more or less letting them soak, especially when you get something that's got a little bit of last night's dinner in there, which was a bit of Olive Garden that we took home, which I recommend highly, especially never ending pasta bowl. That's freaking awesome. But we're letting this soak. You're kind of wondering, well, what's this? This is for filling the pot outside, so this doesn't really need to get cleaned, because this doesn't get used for food. So, and that's another thing. If you're using something you're never going to use for food, you don't have to really worry about cleaning it, because if it's just water over and over again, you're cleaning it with water. Why would you need to go ahead and do water again, unless, of course, somebody's drinking from it? So, but again, got to remember that one is not for juice or anything like that. That one is for watering the flowers, okay? Now what we're going to do, once this is filled up, we're just going to let it soak. Now you're probably going, Ken, what do you mean we're just going to let it soak? Well, we're just going to let it soak. That's all you got to do. Remember, 10% of this is going to be work. The rest of it is lounging around doing jack shit. The important thing is to make it look hard. It's almost full. We'll get this done, and we'll get this all taken care of.
Come on, Dwight.
Now this is the lounging around part. I will be honest, this is most of what you have to do. Right now I'm watching Matt and Pat and their adventures. Come on, you gotta love it. I'll be honest. For those of you guys out there who don't really know this trick, like I said, we're letting everything soak. This is the time when you go online, you watch videos, you watch something on TV that you really want to watch, not something that's going to just be in the background. Why do we do that now? Because this is the part of waiting. If we have the inane stuff in the background while we're just doing this waiting part, we might fall asleep, and that's a no-no. Okay. Now, I do not recommend using any type of recreational drugs at this time, because later on, of course, the dishes might come alive and kill you. So, don't do that. Also, don't use any energy drinks, because a person who is handling sharp knives and is really wigged out of their mind on energy drinks could cut their hand off. And explain that at the emergency room. I mean, think about it. I went down and I got my hand cut off as I was drinking an assault right up my ass. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to wait about, 10, 15 minutes for that to soak. And then we're just going to go ahead and start scrubbing. See how far we can get along. Then it's time for the dumping of other stuff.
Sonya Blade, she sure is a tiger. I'd love to perform a babality in her vagina.
Come on, Dwight.
Okay. Now we've really let it go a little bit too far, but that's all right. You can let things go a little bit too far. You just have to make sure that by the time your significant other comes home, shit's done. Because if it's not, you're up a creek without a paddle. So let's get to it. Now, a few other things. I found one of our pots. You need to go and fill it up with water, hot water. And we've got this ready. So we're going to start scrubbing this down. Now, I've got two different styles of scrubbers. The new one and the old one. For the ones that are really, really bad, use the old one because the bristles have all been flattened out. This one hasn't yet, so we want to use this one last, or anything that's not too bad. So, we got this soaking, dump it out a little bit, anything that's been taken care of will be undone. Now another thing you may want to do is unplug any electrical devices sitting right beside there. Now, take this, put some soap on there. We've already put some soap in here. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to just go like this. See how it's all nice and soapy? Now, we've got it all nice and soapy. Put the other one over there, and then we're going to take this. Because one side is going to be your rinsing side, the other side is going to be your soaking side. So we're going to take our rinsing side, spray it down. And there you have it. It's all clean. It goes in, dish drainer, and we're good. Now, you're kind of wondering, what about all those bits and pieces that fell in? That's when we're going to turn on the cold water. And we're going to find those little bits and pieces, bring them out, and toss them in the garbage. That's simple. Now that that area is clear, we're going to turn our hot water back on again, let it get nice and hot. Grab one of our smaller bowls, dump that out. We're going to take the nice one. Now, the bad thing about this one is the fact that the little thingamajigger that pumps the soap into this is kind of broken. So, they may say, well, why don't you just take it back? I don't want to take it back. If I take it back, they're going to look at me and say, hey, why didn't you take this back sooner? My answer is because I decided not to. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of times if I mess up, I will usually count that as a loss towards myself instead of taking it back to the store. Now, if it's something major, like if it's missing a lot of pieces or I did something really stupid like buy the wrong one, I'll take it back. You know, if it's something that can be taken back. If it's juice or if it's milk, like if I got the wrong style of milk once, it needs to be 2% instead of fat-free. I did that once and ended up drinking fat-free for a while, which is alright. Myself, I'll drink anything really when it comes down to milk, except for whole milk. I won't drink whole milk. It's too fatty for me, you know, too fatty. Now, one thing you got to do. We're doing this in September, beginning of September, so it's still kind of hot outside. It's actually in the 90s. You can believe that in September. So I've got what you're hearing in the background, the little and the little humming sound. That is the air conditioner. Probably thinking, Ken, why don't you turn that off? Get a nice, clear sound of what's happening behind us. You know, Stargate. We have just opened the Stargate for the first time. You know, I'm warm. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let that go. I speak loud enough that you guys can hear me. So, when it gets nice and cool in here, I'll go ahead and I'll turn that off. See, look how fast this is going. Already down that 3 bowls. Now the nice thing about these bowls, they're kind of earthenware bowls, I think. I'm not quite sure. We got them from Walmart. So, it says, made in China, dishwasher, microwavable safe. It's Mainstays Core Creation. So, I'm not quite sure what it is. All I know is they're really easy to clean. They're super easy to clean. Never had an issue of cleaning them. Now, next we've got one of the little guys right here. This is Iron Man. We'll go ahead and just kind of rinse him out. Now, you're kind of wondering, well, why don't you scrub that guy out? Well, the reason is when we let this soak for so long in the super hot water, and I do mean super hot. Growing up where I did, I kind of have a little immunity to a lot of really hot water, so I can go ahead and I can have my hands in really hot water and not worry about it. Now, the final thing we're going to do in here is we're going to leave utensils in there. That's kind of a last thing. We're going to do the big one here. Like I said, just kind of move it around, like this. Like that. And you're probably going, well, doesn't look like you did a lot of work. Well, honestly, you really didn't. Most of the work was done by letting it soak. So if, say like, those of you with roommates, you don't really have a significant other yet, but it's your job to do the dishes, and they get on you and they say, hey, why aren't you doing the dishes? You're just letting them soak. You can go ahead and have them watch this video. Now, there we go. Now, we've got a lot of room in this. We still got the utensils in here, but that's all right. What we're going to do is we're going to take these big ones, let them sit in here, and we're going to take this guy, this is another lid, shove that down in there, fill this back up with water. That guy out. And see, this is one of the reasons why I leave the utensils for last. When you sit the utensils in there, they get to soak for an extra long time, so that way that crusty fork that you got in there, don't have to worry about it. It's going to be taken care of by its own. So, that soak again. Now, the other reason why we let this soak is we only have so much room in this. So we're going to let this just go ahead and take care of itself. Okay, that's done. Got this juice thing that I've got to let soak as well. So one of the things about it is it's got this little plunger on top. Probably thinking, oh crap, it's going to take forever to clean. No. We fill it up with water, all the way up, and then what's that meaning of the word? Soak. That's right, we let it soak. Now, just let it get to a certain point. Make sure you don't get too many such. Just kind of knock those down with the sprayer. We don't want suds, we want water. We want it to soak. Too much suds, it just causes problems. Okay. Take this, put this back on top. Go like that. And what? Let it soak. That's exactly right. So, hands are covered in water, soapy water. What do? Well, we take a paper towel and wipe them off. Back to doing jack. Okay. We've had it soaking for a little bit. Not as much as last time, because last time we kind of screwed up and didn't do what we were supposed to do. Now, in the time that we would let that soak, this is dried out, so we can put this up. If you're anything like me, kind of just pile things in there. Now, I grew up, people tell me you can't pile things in there, but you can. So, we put stuff away. Okay, now we're back to this stuff. First thing we're going to do, so we can clear out this area, do a few more pumps. Pull it out. It's not clear. There we go. Clear. Down good. Move both sides. That's the right one. Try out. Just heard something outside. Be right back, and I want to make sure it's lightning and not something else. just lightning. And we clear out. There we go. Now the big ones here we do have to clean out. Won't lie to you on that. I'm just going to fast forward this part. Let us get through it, okay? Last couple things that we got to do is throw away some stuff that was in the refrigerator. And this is another reason why you got to go ahead and make sure you clear out your garbage. So we're going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay. Most of this is dried. So it's going to go up. All your cups you want to do upside down. That way, if there's still anything in there, it'll drain out a little bit. This we don't have to worry about too much, because we're actually going to refill it and put it back in. Now, while you were gone, I had gone ahead and gotten some more dishes out of there, cleaned out the refrigerator a little bit. So we've got a little bit more in here than what we originally started. Now, a lot of you are going, why did you do that? Well, the reason being is because I was given a few chores to do before my wife left for work. Well, before I dropped her off at work. One of those things was put the clothes that have been folded this morning by us in the bedroom and put them away. Now, to those of you who have a significant other who tells you to do your chores, you know that this means that you've got to do it. Now, in cases like this, it is 6:51. We started this about 5, just to give ourselves some time. Started this about 5, it's 6:51 now, so you spent almost 2 hours letting stuff soak, cleaning stuff up. Well, actually, collectively, probably about 30 minutes letting stuff, cleaning stuff up. The rest of it is just kind of goofing off, which you don't tell them that. In fact, if you do your dishes while someone else is watching, you don't do this. So, little thing, when your significant other is in the room and you're browsing the internet and you're watching this video, just to learn the secret way of doing dishes, don't have them watch it too. In fact, those of you who are a significant other, this was parody. This isn't real. This is not how we really do it. Now, we're going to wait a little bit. Okay, hopefully they clicked off this and went to watch something else, because this is an instructional video on how to slack off while doing dishes. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if we're slacking off, why does it look like you're working? Well, you've got to do a little work. You can't slack off all the time. And with dishes, slacking off and doing the work can look like the same thing. Now, you may be also thinking, well, wait a minute, any idiot can do dishes. Well, yeah, any idiot can do dishes. Look at me, I'm doing dishes. But it takes a really good person to do them and enjoy the time they're doing them. And do it my way. Now, those of you who do dishes for a living, or serve for a living, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you guys. You guys do a freaking hard job. That's why When I do it at home, I do it my way, the easy way. If I had to do it in a job, don't think I'd last very long. We're just going to fast forward through this a little bit because I'm just cleaning up the last bit before we get to smaller stuff. Now only two things are left. Crusty pot and our silverware. Now, the crusty pot we're going to go ahead and dump out in the sink. Still got a lot down there. So, what do? Add some more soap. Let it soak a little bit more, and we change out that hot water. The hot water loosens it up. Knock down those sides. And in fact, something like this where both sides kind of got a little, we're going to do what I like to do, and that is let it soak on both the inside and the outside. Makes it easier to go ahead and wash. So. Drain out one side. Always make sure you have one side that is your rinse side, one side that is your wash side. Now you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, you just filled up that one side. No, I didn't. I didn't do it that very far. The reason I didn't do it very far is we still have stuff over here. I want to fill it over here. Let that fill. And it is now 6:57. Now, a lot of you are going, wait a minute. You've got to pick up your wife at 7:30. You've got to hurry the shit up. Oh, I will. Don't be worried about me. I've been doing this for a while. So, we'll be back.
Come on to watch.
Okay, we're down to the final things. Our silverware. This is really easy. All you really got to do is go like that, scrape it down, set it in your rinse area. Why do we have the rinse area? Remember what we said? We have the rinse area, we set everything there, rinse it all out, take everything out later, and wash it. We'll rinse it off. So, again, fast forward. Let this drain. And we're done. What I like to do at the end is take a dish towel, run it over a couple areas, dry it off, off the stove a little bit, and we're good. I hope this was informative for you guys, especially for those of you with significant others, because you want to make sure that you give them all the love and support that you can, but at the same time, don't overwork yourself. It is 7:23. I gotta go and get my wife. Hopefully everything's going all right for her tonight, and I'll be back to edit this video. I'll also go ahead and be back later this week to do part 2 of Midori Days. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And remember, those of you who are significant others who are watching this and are not the ones who do the dishes, please don't judge. We're doing it because we got to, but we're making the best out of a bad situation. So, until then, have a good one.
Time for go to bed.